Buenos dias from Gracia. This is the Rorschach Spain update from the 27th of March, 2025. Quick summary of what's going down in Spain. What's been going on the last 3 weeks? Well, we're kicking this special sessions off slightly longer episode with the latest economic updates. Industrial prices in Spain have hit a 2-year high. According to Eurostat, Spain's manufacturing producer price index rose from 117 in December 2024 to 118 in January 2025, with February seeing further increases. Put it simply, the index tracks how much prices are changing for goods made in Spain. Right now, those prices are rising, which isn't good for economic growth. The main driver is rising energy costs, particularly electricity and gas, which make manufacturing more expensive. As a result, companies may pass these costs on to consumers, leading to higher prices for everyday goods. Next up, on Wednesday the 26th, President Pedro Sanchez called for a unified European army with troops from all 27 EU countries to ensure security and stability. He argued that amid shifting U.S. policies and rising threats, Europe must take responsibility for its own defense to guarantee lasting peace. However, this call comes at a time when Spain faces pressure to boost its military spending. With one of the smallest NATO budgets, the Prime Minister has promised to increase funding, but his left-wing coalition partners oppose reallocating funds from social services and decarbonization efforts towards military priorities. In healthcare, recent news suggests that measles has returned to Spain. On Sunday the 23rd, Spanish health authorities reported over 100 measles cases first 8 weeks of 2025, a sharp rise from just 15 in the same period last year. Experts say the virus has entered Spain through countries such as Romania and Morocco, easily spreading across 8 regions because of the low vaccination rates. No need to worry too much. Spanish Ministry of Health considers the risk low and is closely monitoring the situation. Also, Spain is not alone. Several other European countries are also seeing a resurgence, including Romania with over 27,000 cases, Italy with around 1,000, and Germany with more than 600. Healthcare to housing. After years of frustration and protest over squatters, or okupas, on Tuesday the 18th, Congress proposed a new law that could dramatically speed up the eviction process for squatters. The law, backed by both the Socialist and the Popular Party, or PP, aims to ensure that property owners can reclaim their homes within 48 hours of reporting a squatter. Currently, Spain's squatter laws make eviction a lengthy and complex process, often requiring legal battles that can stretch for months or even years. Under the proposed law, the deadline would apply without delay, making it significantly easier for homeowners to recover their properties without navigating cumbersome court procedure. Squatting has become a big issue in Spain over the last few years as cases of illegal occupation rise, with more than 16,000 breaking and entering incidents reported in 2024 alone. In Barcelona, 2023, the figure is around 7,000, while in Andalusia and Madrid, there's about 30 to 40,000, although not all of these, of course, resulted in squatting. Talk about the heated debate over Moroccan cultural studies in southern Spain. The Spanish government plans to introduce the Arabic language and Moroccan cultural studies program in Andalus schools for the 2025-26 academic year. Sparked strong opposition from fascist party Vox. Program is designed mainly for Moroccan students, with Spanish students able to opt in voluntarily. In a press conference on Thursday, the 20th, Vox's Manuel Gavira criticized the initiative, arguing that such subjects should be taught at the Moroccan embassy or private schools rather than in public institutions. He said the program promotes a culture that contradicts Spanish values. Lord. Supporters, however, point to Morocco's historical influence in southern Spain, particularly during the Moorish era, and argue that understanding this heritage is essential to appreciating Spain's diverse cultural history. On an unrelated note, on Monday the 24th, the European Commission backed Spain's decision not to pay over $100 million to the private equity firm Antine, despite a previous ruling saying they should. This repayment issue began when Spain reduced renewable energy subsidies in 2013, which hurt Antine's investments. Antine took the case to an international court and won in 2018. However, the European Commission now says that paying this money would be an illegal form of government support, which goes against EU regulations. For all the expats that tune into this podcast, this next one is for you. The British Embassy in Spain has urged British residents without a tarjeta de identidad de extranjero, or NIE, to apply urgently, as Spain has confirmed the old green certificate will not be valid under the EU's upcoming entry-exit system, or EES. Without a NIE, or TIE, British residents may be considered non-residents, risking travel complications or re-entry issues. ESS is expected to start this year, though no date is set. The system will require non-EU short-stay travelers to register biometric data and passport details, which will be stored for 3 years to simplify repeat visits. Even if you're not British, if you're living in Spain, it may be worth reviewing which certificate you need. Driver? You might want to be aware that there are new speeding cameras across the peninsula. According to the news outlet Euro Weekly News, Spain's traffic authority, the Dirección General de Tráfico, or DGT, has installed 17 new radar systems nationwide as part of its 2025 speed control plan. This initiative forms part of the DGT's 2025 National Speed Control Plan, which aims to deploy over 100 new radars as part of ongoing efforts to improve traffic safety and reduce speeding. The new radar devices will operate under a 1-month grace period. During this time, if you're caught speeding, you won't be fined, but afterwards, drivers should expect increasingly heavy fines. The DGT has made the locations public, and drivers, we got the link in the show notes. Continuing with transport, despite pressure to align with EU road funding policies, the Ministry of Transport has reaffirmed that there will be no tolls, pay-per-use fees, or extra charges on state-owned highways, expressways, or roads. Since 2018, Spain has been removing tolls from Spanish motorways and bringing over 1,000 kilometers, or 620 miles of highways, under state control. President Pedro Sanchez has insisted that this move helps reduce regional inequalities and makes road travel more affordable. 85% of Spain's motorway network is now toll-free, and the government is sticking to its plans to keep it that way. It's been a while since we gave an update on Valencia, so let's check in with what's been going on in the region over the past couple of weeks. On Sunday the 2nd, tens of thousands rallied against Carlos Mazón, regional president of Valencia, calling for his resignation and displaying anger and frustration at his leadership since Valencia's devastating floods in October 2024. Banners and chants said that Mazón was incompetent and did not manage the warning procedures or post-flood organization well. Mazón has consistently refused calls to quit and vowed to continue until the end of his term in 2027. Fortunately, it turns out that Valencia can't have a break from floods. On Thursday the 6th, torrential rain caused flash floods, sweeping away cars, closing roads, and forced school evacuations. The state meteorological agency issued orange alerts for parts of Murcia, Valencia, Catalunya, warning coastal residents to stay indoors. Even though Thursday's floods caused no casualties, Fernando López Miras, Murcia's regional president, warned that rising water levels continue to flood streets, highlighting the lasting impact of October's floods. Also got an update on Catalunya's debt relief, which we reported on a few weeks ago. On Sunday the 9th, during a conference, Partido Popular, or PP leader Alberto Núñez Feijóo, criticized recent agreements between President Pedro Sanchez and the Catalan parliament, particularly the region's debt forgiveness and transfer of migration powers. Feijóo argued that the debt relief simply shifts the burden elsewhere and that handing over migration powers weakens Spain as a whole. He argued that Catalunya has more complex immigration, high crime rates, and more okupas. Sanchez agreed to forgive over 17 billion euros in Catalan debt in exchange for political backing from the ruling Esquerra Republicana party, securing his re-election as Spain's president in December 2024. In his speech, Feijóo also assured Catalans, saying his party won't make them feel like foreigners outside of Catalunya. Now here is some interesting news. Horses and fire and the connection. On Tuesday the 25th, news outlet Reuters reported on an ecological jewel in the northwest of the country. In Barro, a village in Galicia, wildfires have dropped significantly since locals began grazing wild horses in 2019. 2021 A Coruña University study found that these horses help preserve ecosystems by boosting plant diversity and aiding carbon capture. Unlike cows and sheep, they thrive in the rugged terrain. Climate change fuels more wildfires. Locals maintain this Neolithic-era tradition to protect both the horses and the landscape. However, without government funding, rising costs for fencing, vet care, insurance, and tracking threaten their efforts. Interested in cutting food waste? Well, Spain has introduced a new law that will help reduce food waste across many different industries. New law was passed on Thursday the 20th and requires bars and restaurants to provide containers for taking away leftovers, supermarkets to donate their surplus food, and all companies in the food chain to have plans to prevent further food from continuing along the chain. Now, female empowerment. According to data from the European Patent Office, or EPO, Spain is the European country with the highest percentage of female inventors named in patent applications. Just over 40% of Spanish patent applications in 2024 included at least one female inventor, a percentage higher than that of Belgium at 32% and France at 31%. In its 2024 patent index, EPO reported that inventors worldwide filed over 200,000 patent applications last year, of which just over 2,000 were from Spanish companies or individuals. EPO President Antonio Campione emphasized that despite political and economic unrest, last year's patent request demonstrates Spain's technological prowess and continued investment in research and development. Next, you're not familiar with AI and its applications in media. This next story might surprise you, but Pedro Sandoval, the Spanish music artist, became the first person to create a full album using artificial intelligence after releasing it to Spotify earlier this month. Sandoval used AI to generate singing profiles for two different singers, ZKY18 and Dirty Marilyn. Sandoval has been a strong defender of artificial intelligence in the artistic field, despite many calling for it to be regulated or outright banned. If you want to check out the album, it's called El Chulo de Madrid. While on the topic of AI, Spain will impose large fines for not labeling AI-generated content. The government approved a bill on Tuesday, the 11th, that will allow them to impose massive fines on companies that use content generated by artificial intelligence without properly labeling it as such, in a bid to flush out deepfake or misleading content. Spain is among the first EU countries to implement strict AI legislation. Let me also add that a real human being wrote this, and I am a real human being. Shifting gears, here's an interesting story about wine with a new prestigious status. The European Commission has granted wines from the Rio Negro area protected designation of origin status, recognizing their unique qualities and a rich winemaking heritage. The area with the new status is located in Guadalajara in central Spain, covers about 1,200 acres or 400 hectares, which is about 2 square miles. The region's winemaking tradition reflects generations of expertise adapted to its mountainous terrain and climate. With the weather chopping and changing so much in recent times, let's look at how April is predicted to pan out in Spain. Meteorologists from Spain's State Meteorological Agency are predicting a notably hot spring period, with temperatures expected to be roughly 70% warmer than last year. Trends align with Spain's increasingly warm spring season. Rainfall patterns are uncertain, though recent rains have helped ease Spain's long-term drought. Winter was also unusually mild, marking the sixth warmest since 1961, and part of a clear trend towards warmer seasons in general due to climate change. However, recent flash flooding might have something to say about this. Finally, in last year's Fallas Festival in Valencia, a series of over-the-top caricatures of Donald Trump took center stage, ready to be set alight in the traditional fashion. These fiery papier-mâché sculptures, part of the festival's satirical spirit, reflect Spain's unique tradition of using art to challenge political figures. If you want to check out some of the sculptures, the pictures are amazing. Link in the show notes. And that's it for this week. Thanks for joining us. If you're listening on Spotify, you know that you can leave a comment or question in the episode. Click on the comment box. Don't worry, comments are private by default and we won't publish them. If you want us to get back to you, share your email. Hasta la próxima.